I'm not going to look. If I look, I won't get through it. But thank you, everyone, for coming. Everyone who met Ray Berry instantly took a liking to him. How could you not? He was charismatic, handsome, charming, intelligent, interesting, and interested. Quick to engage in easy conversation, making whoever you were feel comfortable. He inspired my friends, the guys related to your ultimate cool, the ladies to your quick to twinkle smile and soft blue eyes. You had great compassion for those around you, taking care of your mother up until the day she died in your arms. There for your friend Vern, who was bound to a wheelchair, being an advocate for him, whisking him off to the track with you, caring for a sick and dying old friend, getting him to his doctor's appointments. You loved to discuss, debate, ruminate. We were nearly polar opposites on politics, but you loved to goad me during our Sunday morning conversation with the latest Fox News revelation. And we would have impassioned discussions, each championing our side with great fervor. On your 80th birthday, we had a murder mystery dinner. You got dressed up and fully into character, guessing the culprit before the rest of us even had a clue. When we all went bowling, you handily beat the bunch, including 3 strapping young grandsons and a clever granddaughter. You are loved deeply by your family, Raymond Berry. The celebratory birthday dinners, either at Brennan and Karen's, with stellar meals and hospitality always guaranteed, or a brunch crowded 11 to 13 of us comfortably at a little fold-out IKEA table built for 6, overlooking the Esplanade, with views of the sea and the Queen's Necklace of the South Bay and PV. Really, the same spot you grew up on, 1 block back on Catalina Avenue, where you saw Redondo Beach and PV grow from dirt roads and few houses, carousing with your pals, the PV gangsters, on late-night cigarette and whiskey-infused rendezvous in your 1938 Cadillac, white walls and cuffed pants, tan and handsome, flashing smiles. On the beach looking all the rage on sun-kissed days in Hermosa. There was the Fox Theater, bars on the beach, the Red Car Train, the Riviera Dance Club where you wore white jackets and danced to Tommy Dorsey and Frank Sinatra, taking frequent trips to Catalina, which you continued through our childhood, the 3-hour tour to Avalon, out of San Pedro, dinners with your parents down at Ports of Call, going to the movies, Sound of Music, Paint Your Wagon, Ryan's Daughter. You were progressive and open to new ideas. You had a million of them, from the jumbo dill pickles out of a wine barrel to the latest, the electronic Ouija board. And I know, I can hear you say, don't be telling my ideas. I especially like your idea of a t-shirt with your photo of when you were young and beautiful, so you could say, yeah, that's me before all of this. He was, I suppose, a bit vain. He was a casual but pressed dresser in his chinos. One day he took to wearing chapeaus and grew his hair long with a mustache. I would travel in my younger years with the inevitable call at the end of my trip. Dad, I need money. I'm in London, I'm broke. I'm in Bali, just enough to get me home. He supported my travels, callings, writer, actor, my moves, first to New York and then to Portland. You were the first to stay, yet you were the first to say go, yet the one to stay. There were cross-country forays in your youth, Chicago, Portland too, Vegas. Looking through pictures, he would be perfectly dressed and coiffed in a zoot suit at the track in Chicago, hanging with the jockeys, and I'd say, you hitchhiked and packed a suit? Of course, you couldn't leave style behind. There was the Parisian-inspired nightclub, the Bastille, you put your dreams into. My mother and my grandfather, both artists, creating a vision that didn't quite make it, and their marriage didn't either. There had been girls too numerous to mention. He would say, I only went out with her one time, yet there were always pictures, the folder version somehow taken wherever you went, a memento, permanent and extravagant. He still has the one from his first double date. Then there was Nell, who wrote him dozens of love letters I came across in the garage. She became a stewardess, they were engaged, but she flew away. When my mom swooped in years later after the Korean War, losing his twin brother and graduating from SC, my dad fell in love with a Midwest gal with a California edge and 2 boys, 3 and 7. He adopted my brothers, Johnny and Michael, because he was that kind of guy. And they grew a family of 4 with Brennan and I. My mom was the secretary at Northrop, and my dad was the liquor salesman with Young's Market. We get to cruise around in the Cuddy Sark Cadillac. On days I would be sick from school, I would sit shotgun while my dad make his calls, thinking that one day I would be Miss Black Velvet. My dad excelled in his job, winning golf trips to Scotland and pub crawls in England and Ireland. Whatever he decided to do, whether it was buy a house, fix it up while we lived in it and sell it, or hand copy reams of paper with horse races and odds, he was always all in. The mail order meeting sticks, the blind cleaning businesses with your pal John, out about on the town in your bachelor days, Del Connie's, Hungry Tiger, the Velvet Turtle, picking up Harvey hitchhiking, a consummate ladies' man as well as a devoted son. Growing up as a twin, the Barry boys were deemed a trophy for the healthiest babies in 1938. Your family lived for a time in a boxcar during the Depression on what was to be the Las Vegas Strip, and gratefully your dad had a job working for the railroad. You were born in LA and grew up at the beach. Pictures of you and your brother in matching outfits that your mother handmade. Lord Fauntleroy to Little Rascals to Robin Hoods and dapper young men. You shared a room, a car, a life, but took separate roads going into the service, as twins will sometimes do. You the Army, Ronald the Navy. It was an ill-fated set of circumstances the day after his 23rd birthday when Ronald somehow inexplicably drowned during a routine training underwater demolition. My dad didn't find out for 2 weeks, but when he saw the officers who came to hear the bad news, he knew. He often spoke fondly of his brother, how he was funny, what a cut-up, an artist, how he was musically inclined, good-hearted. But I could never fully grasp what it must have been like for him. You see your brother for the last time at a bus stop on PCH, you come back, having seen and experienced the visual horrors of war and the empty loss of your brother. But having good British parents, no doubt, there was a sense of keep calm and carry on, as your father was a World War I vet from the Royal Navy. You went to college, first El Camino, a semester at UCLA, and graduating from USC with an import-export degree. Well, most liquor is imported. You liked an easy life, one that afforded free time to go to the track, win a few bucks, never spending more than $10 on a bet. It was the love of the mystery of the numbers. My grandmother would use numerology herself in her thoroughbred victories, but you took it to a whole other level. You loved the skill, the thrill, and the camaraderie and feel of your days at the track. Your numbers paid off. One day you won $50,000. Yes, it bears repeating, $50,000. I wish I could remember how the numbers story went, because there always was one. The two came in and paid 3-2 odds. It was the favorite. I boxed the exact at 2-7, and he came in and won 2-4, but 1, 4, and 7 are the same numbers, you see. Decades worth of analyzing in the making. He wants it published. Dad, if I practice and get it and the numbers are in alignment, I will have your system published. He was at Hollywood Park when it opened and saw Seabiscuit run, and was just there this past year attending the final days of the infamous racetrack. The final days of Derby and your physical demise still twice a day, no matter the pain, getting out for a walk in the park, around the neighborhood, looking at the same old cracks in the sidewalk, you said. I sense perhaps a wish for a bit more wanderlust in your life, but I am an assurance that you and Derby and your brother and mother and father are together, tripping the light fantastic in realms that have nothing to do with cement. My dad was the king of hearts. He was kind and generous, handsome and daring, graced with intelligence, loving and caring. My friend and ally, confidant and standby. He is to me the song of the sea and keeper of dreams. Although we're apart, he's closer to my heart. Always, Dad, I miss you and I love you every day. And I just want to read something from my daughter Sage, who is really heartbroken that she's not here today. And she just asked me to read this. Grandpa Raymond V, I think of you and smile, for I know you are amongst the divine creative energy and supreme consciousness. You walk in light and love, sublime beauty and truth. Your time on earth was full of grand memories, and you made the very bunch beautiful. A man with intellect and integrity, strength and sweetness, ideas and humor. Thank you for blessing us with your bliss and rays of sunshine. Thank you for being who you were until we meet again in the next life. We carry your heart